We're going to start out today with an AVG question from Faye. Faye says that she's trying to figure out how to get her AVG to scan at 4 a.m. and it's not working. Well, double click on your AVG, Faye, click Tools, and then click Advanced Settings. You'll get this screen here, and you're going to go down here to Schedules. Click the plus sign next to Schedules, click Scheduled Scan, and then over here on the right hand side of the page after you click Scheduled Scan, you will see that you have the option to change the time and how often that it runs, but you'll also want to check the box down here that run even if the computer is in a low power mode or sleep mode. I don't recommend checking this box because then it's gonna, if it misses a scan, it's gonna start a scan every time you start your computer, and you don't really want that to happen. So give that a try. Make sure your computer is left on, and you shouldn't have any problem. Margaret writes in that she has a comment more than a question, and she says she tried 4 times to leave a comment on my website, but the CAPTCHA would not accept her entry. She finally discovered that she needed to have cookies enabled on her computer in order to properly interact with the CAPTCHA. First of all, real quickly, the CAPTCHA is this thing. It's something I have on my website. Many people have on their websites to prevent spam from getting into their comments. Cookie is just a small text file that identifies what your computer is doing, how long you've been on a website, things like that. They're not bad. If you're using Mozilla Firefox, you should always have cookies enabled. Otherwise, you are going to have the same problem Margaret had, which is decreased functionality on the internet. Keep your cookies enabled. Looks like all ladies' day today so far anyway on Rick Answers His Email. Patricia asks, is it okay to automatically install Service Pack 3 on Windows XP? I'm still a little bit up in the air on that one. Service Pack 3 has been working fine on most people's computers. If you do have a Hewlett-Packard or a Compaq computer, go to the website first, put in your model number for HP or Compaq at their website under support.hp.com, because there are some updates that those computers for sure need prior to doing Service Pack 3 upgrade. Dave is writing in about trying to record on a Windows XP Pro. He's wondering if there's any differences between Windows XP Pro and Windows XP Home in terms of recording, and there is not. They use exact same technologies in that. The only thing I can suggest is to make sure that you're double-clicking on your speaker in the lower right-hand corner of Windows XP and check that the recording is not muted and all the recording levels are up. I'm assuming you've tried that. Dave, I also want to suggest that you triple check your connections on the back of your computer. You should have a little microphone designation that looks something like this. Usually it has this red pinkish outline and a little microphone symbol next to it, and that you're not using the line in or maybe using the microphone jack on your modem, which is sometimes people will do that as well as an accident, and you should be fine. Jim is a recent convertee from Windows to Macintosh, and he used to use RoboForm for his passwords, and now he wants to know what other program can he use that's sort of like RoboForm for the Macintosh. And there's 2 that I can suggest for you, Jim. One would be a password manager from a company called 1Password. If you just go to onepassword.com, 1Password seems to be the consensus best product for the Macintosh platform. They have a new iPhone product as well. The second suggestion I can give you is from a company that's been around a long time and been doing what's called Splash ID, a software called Splash ID that has been widely accepted around the world on the PC platform and on Palm platform for a long time. And Splash Data, the company who makes this product, Splash ID, has just brought this product to the iPhone and the Macintosh desktop. So you can check that out at splashdata.com. Barbara's writing in about a problem with her keyboard, and she's having some problems with the X not doing what it's supposed to. One of the shift keys isn't shifting when it's supposed to, and then she's also asking what is sticky keys and wondering what she can do to possibly get this up and running. Sticky keys, I'm going to answer that question first because that's the first place to look if you have a problem with your keyboard, is a function that if you push a key too long on your keyboard, Windows will kick in a little feature called sticky keys to prevent your keyboard from reacting from having a key held down too long. And you can find that by going to Control Panel and then the Accessibility Features, and then under Keyboard you can uncheck or check the sticky keys. Typically you do not need sticky keys enabled. Now that being said, Barbara, the other thing you want to do is definitely pick up another keyboard. You can always take it back if it doesn't work, and try a new keyboard with your system And if it works fine, then you know that it was the old keyboard. If it doesn't work, you can take the new keyboard back and figure out what is the root problem. Ernie from Springfield, Massachusetts writes that I miss you in the reminder, East Longmeadow, Massachusetts. What's up? Should I complain? You don't have to complain, Ernie, but you can certainly ask. I write for a series of senior newspapers around the country, one of them being in Springfield, Massachusetts. And Ernie, call them up and just see what happened to my article. There was 1 month this summer where I did not have a new article submitted. Maybe that's the only month you missed, but we're back into production, and you should start seeing new articles again from me in that paper. But if you don't see them, go ahead and give them a call. Do you know of a business in Grand Junction area that converts a PowerPoint slideshow onto a DVD? I would start with Snap Photo in Grand Junction. If they can't do it, they might have a resource that can. And if you don't find a resource, that might be something I can help you with. You can give me a call during the week. Mel writes that just recently he noticed that some of his pictures and folders are labeled in blue and some are labeled in black. And he says, what are the reasons I can't, and what can I do to return them all to black print? You can't do much to return them all to black print. That's a designation in Windows for indicating whether a particular file is compressed or uncompressed, or has been compressed or uncompressed in the past. If you're running the disk cleanup tool, the Windows disk cleanup tool, there's a little checkbox that says compress large files or something to that effect. And if you've ever checked that box and then run the disk cleanup tool, you're going to get those different colored labels. My first suggestion is when you run the Windows Disk Cleanup tool, do not use the compress large files option. That's going to get you into the problem you're in here. Second of all, I wouldn't even use the Windows Disk Cleanup tool. Use one of the 2 cleanup tools on my website at helpmerick.com, either CCleaner or a cleanup tool called Cleanup. And they both work very well, and you won't end up with this problem. As far as turning them all back to black, I don't think you're going to be able to do that. You can try right-clicking on the files and then click uncompress, but I'm not sure if that's going to work or not. And again, I would always back things up before you try something like that. Happy is writing in with a problem that I don't really think is a problem, Happy. You say that when you're trying to download AVG, it goes directly to your My Documents folder, and you don't get the Save As option, and that's fine. As long as you have downloaded the AVG and you have a file for it in your My Documents, proceed to the next step and then go forward because you've already downloaded the file. So don't get hung up on that step. You should be okay. Buddy has a 9-year-old computer which seems to have had a hard drive crash, and he unfortunately wants something for nothing. He would like to retrieve his year's worth of data and pictures from his hard drive that's crashed. He did say he backed up previous years, but he would like to do it and not spend $100 to do it. Unfortunately, buddy, unless you try to do it yourself with different tools you can find online, which you unfortunately have to pay for and then learn how to use, I don't think you're going to be able to do what you want to do, because once you have a hard drive crash, it does take specialized knowledge and tools to retrieve any data if it's retrievable, and that does cost money. Dave would like to have all of his folders open up so where he can see the details, the name of the file, the date, the size, etc. And he has gone in and tried to, say, apply to all folders. He says that in here somewhere, but when he shuts his computer off and goes into another folder, it comes right back the way it was. You're missing one quick step, Dave. When you go into Tools and Folder Options, or View and Folder Options, or if you're in Vista, you go to Organize and Folder Options, click the View tab. In the Advanced Settings section here, scroll down until you see this option right here that says Remember Each Folder's View Settings. You want to uncheck that, because if that's checked, Windows is going to continue to try to remember all of the folder's view settings, and if you want them all to be the same, that's where you're going to get the hang up. So uncheck that box, click Apply, click OK, and then when you go back and set one of your folders to Details, then after you click Apply to All Folders, it will get applied to all of your folders. We're going to finish this week's email with a suggestion from Walt. Walt has been using a program called Syncplicity.com. It's an online backup and synchronization software called Syncplicity.com, and says it's been working real well for him. It's designed to give you some online backup storage and give you the ability to have access to files you want in multiple places. Thanks for the email, and thanks everyone else for writing in. We'll be back with more Rick Answers His Email at a future date.